Hi y'all and welcome to Seesaw Art. This video will show you step by step how I painted this silver pot to make it look shiny and reflective. This is the palette that I used. It's my Stay Wet palette. These paints are well over a week old. I used cadmium yellow medium and yellow ochre, sap green, 4 different reds that I just happen to have in my repertoire, but use whatever red you have. This is burnt sienna, burnt umber, French ultramarine blue, black, primary magenta, titanium white, and transparent mixing white, which I use to alter the values of the reds. The background is painted in with a dark mixture of sap green, blue, and burnt umber, with a couple of areas that I lightened by adding yellow and titanium white to the mix. Now starting on this sugar bowl here at the top on the lid, we're using blue and white to reflect the sky. This lower portion of the lid is just a little bit darker, so there's less white in my mix. Now I'm just putting in a little gray I mixed using white, the burnt umber, and the blue. This is just titanium white here to indicate some clouds and highlights. Now I look very carefully at my reference photo and see that this green color is here on the edges, and that's reflecting the foliage that's back behind the still life arrangement. So I'm following what I see in the reference photo carefully and applying this greenish color, slightly lighter in value than the background, to various areas on this little pot. That is the secret to making this look like metal. It's all about the reflections of the objects that are around it. Also paying attention to the fact that the reflections are distorted, and that's because of the shape of the metal vessel. Again, using this kind of very light sky color on the top of the handle. So I mixed up the medium gray to indicate this line here of the groove and the handle, and I'll just use lighter gray on either side of this line. Now in this groove here of the body of this sugar bowl, it's a broken line to indicate the groove of different colors. So there'll be combinations of the reds and the greens and the grays. Again, because it's just got so many colors and so many different patches of color, which makes this a really interesting thing to try to paint. I can't stress enough how important it is to just closely study your reference. In my case, this photo, and I'm applying all the variations of color that I see, and there patches, well-defined patches of color that are adjacent to each other. It's not a fine, smooth gradation like you would if you were painting a piece of fruit or some other cylindrical or spherical object that was basically one main color. This is a patchwork, like a patchwork quilt, but it's working. Here's some more of that sky color. This area here doesn't have as many reflections in it, probably from our point of view, the perspective, and then also the fact that it's in shadow. So it's going to be a little bit of a smoother blend, not as vibrant as the areas above. I'm warming up this area right here a little bit by adding some yellow and yellow ochre to my white. Just so it's a slightly different highlight and makes it look brighter, I think, compared to all the blue. Now I'm just going around and finding some of these edges and lines that need to be sharpened up, brightened in some cases and darkened in others. We're very, very close to being done. And this is the part that finishes it up and really sets this piece into the painting and into the composition, and that's to make sure that you include a shadow. So you have the cast shadow, which is just the very darkest, kind of looks like a stripe, right directly under the little pot. And then you kind of soften up that dark shadow by applying a lighter version of that color off to the edges and kind of feathering it out. And it makes it look like, in our situation, that the light is coming from directly above. I also decided that I didn't like this yellowish look to the lace tablecloth here on the back, so I decided to go more towards the blue, and I just think it looked better and brought out the color of the little pot better. Well, here it is all done. I hope you had a takeaway or two from this about how to make something look like shiny metal. It's all about the reflections. Thanks for watching.